Hi, welcome to the Market Alert for Thursday, 4th of January 2018. Yesterday, the pound giving back some of its gains as the US dollar rallied off the lows. No surprise there really, because we had that major support. Let's just have a quick look at that. Let's just see if we can grab it, make a bit more space. And dollar index weekly, let's switch that to daily. And you can see yesterday, I just expand this out a bit, the dollar moving back to the upside there, you can see there. And that's why the pound moved lower. And again, if we just pull this into a weekly chart, you'll see we're at heading towards a crucial area. And that's going to be around the 76% retracement as well. So that's why you see the pound for yesterday moving to the downside there. And then finding support here, you can see that it really had some selling in this area. 4 straight 15-minute bars of selling. And then some buying coming in to support the market. A bit more profit taking here, but then the buying coming back also here. And then the market's traded sideways since. But in the bigger picture, the market still above the 20-bar average and still moving towards the upside there. So don't be surprised to see this turn around and move back towards the upside. You're going to get days where the market pulls back. And again, if you know the pattern to what's happening in the dollar index, US dollar, then you'll understand why. But no major selling in the volume here. According to yesterday's data. News today, what have we got? Let's have a look around. Services PMI for the UK, net lending to individuals as well, that's out. And then we've got the ADP non-farm employment change and crude oil inventories, which are a day later. And they're always half an hour later as well, normally 3:30, but if it's missed because of a bank holiday, then it's generally the day after the official date and half an hour later, which has always been an odd one. And then tomorrow we've got the non-farm payroll, so just expect the Dow to continue sideways to higher and also up to the 25,000 level as well. So yesterday the market, waiting for the Fed's minutes, tried to move higher and did so for a while, and then became range bound while it waited for the news. And what's staggering, if you go back a few years, any sort of Fed announcement would create a massive 100-point spike, and then it would find its level and then return to the existing trend. Now you just get absolutely nothing. I mean, this is 7 p.m. and there's just absolutely nothing for these markets now. And then you get the buy signal in this area here. You can see there, PTP, and then the market goes on to make a new all-time high on the overnight. So as this market continues higher, we're getting closer and closer to the 25,000 level. We didn't do it in 2017, the end, where I was hoping we would. And it looks like we've got that on the cards today. 24,968, so 32 points off that 25,000. It'll be interesting to see what it does there, but no doubt probably blast through and keep going. 30,000 the next stop by the looks of things. And again, you have to look at the headlines here for the volatility. VIX crashes to 8 handle as S&P tops 2017, and as it says here, couldn't say it better myself, because nothing says sell volatility like an uncertain Fed, unbelievable Trump related headlines, and an unbullish bond market. When the bond market's falling apart, the yield curve's flattening, then just sell the volatility and bring the stock market back up. So as long as the stock market continues to rise, everything looks great on paper there. And that's what you're seeing. So 25,000 is on the cards. No doubts about that. It'll do it in the pre-market session as well as the European markets come on stream this morning, because that's the pattern of how things work these days. And then they may sell into it at 2:30. as we've seen that pattern as well that has become a sort of a new template for this market at the moment. So have a quick look at the implied volatility, which I think you've already guessed it. Yes, this has moved lower. The implied volatility moves from 866 to 826, bringing us into this sort of range, sideways range there. Again, no great shakes there, nothing to be surprised about at all. Right, let's have a quick look at Bitcoin before we conclude. So not a lot to report here either. As I said in yesterday's market, I would expect this market to consolidate for a bit, and it's also under some sort of pressure now from the futures market as well. You see the market trading to the 76% retracement that I drew in yesterday. It's banged heads with this a few times and so far hasn't managed to take it out. If it's going to move higher, it needs to drive through this area in order to get back and start moving back to those sort of record highs. But given the massive move that we saw in 2017, this market needs to consolidate for a bit. You can also see that the volume is dropping off slightly as well in this market. So a lot of other, say, crypto opportunities around in other markets and coins. So again, this one's sort of coming off the boil. This one is designed to bring this to the masses' attention, because there was an article the other day in the Daily Mail, which I will just find for you. And here you go, here's the headline. If we can get rid of this other thing on the top of the page here. That's going to be a pain, isn't it? Okay, we'll just deal with this bit. Let's get rid of that as well. Just 1 second. Right, that's it. Headline then. We've got Bank of England could issue its own Bitcoin-style currency within a year, cutting out the need for high street banks. And what they want to do is to centralise the whole of the banking system so that yours, mine, everybody's cash, well, not cash, digital cash and currency is actually centralised, and that is very, very worrying indeed. I've spoken about this before. There may be a few quid to be made in the cryptocurrencies, but there's something a bit more sinister going on, in my opinion, with this lot. And the fact that nobody knows Shitomo, the Chapu, or Satoshi, I think it is, Satoshi Nakamoto, that's it. Nobody's ever met him, seen him, had lunch with him. As I've said before, it just all seems very, very strange. And now you've got the Bank of England is researching cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin and could issue its own version within the next year, it is reported. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I've said this for a long time, that there is this thing with getting central control of everybody's information. And the ultimate prize, of course, is to have full access and control over an individual's money, and being able to turn it on and off. I mean, we're seeing local branches of banks closing at a phenomenal rate, and this is just another step along the way. Now, Andrew Haldane, 4 years ago, proposed, he's one of the MPC members, proposed that he wanted to get rid of cash. And again, this is the sort of the totalitarian tiptoe into removing cash from the system, and everything will be electronic. And once it all becomes electronic, of course, then they've got you by the short and curlies if they want to make life difficult and turn it off, or if there is any sort of meltdown of the system, then it would be very difficult to get hold of or actually spend any money from a device. And of course, the next generation, this is a piece of cake to implement, because you've got generations coming up that are welded, or their hands are welded to their mobile smartphones and are unable to actually walk looking forward, can only walk looking down at a device. That's the addiction of this lot. So it's easy to shoehorn people into a new form of currency where the powers that be have this control. Not conspiracy theory stuff. This, if I'd have said it last year, you maybe thought slightly different, but now you can see this has been the case. But I have spoken about this before many times to many people about Andrew Haldane's proposal to remove cash from the system, how that would affect charities and lots of other things as well. Of course, this is all brought in on the pretext of money laundering by terrorists and so on and so forth, and then the rest of us have to comply with these things. So this is why you're seeing Bitcoin in the media. This is why it's been allowed to run, because I can't for the life of me understand why any banking cartels would allow this to actually have run when it's decentralized and of no benefit to them. But the benefit is, of course, as Catherine Austin Fitts said, who was worked for the Housing Department in the Clinton administration, very, very smart lady, has said, the great thing about the Bitcoin infrastructure, of course, is that it is open source, so all of the best programmers in the world come forward, help to develop it on the basis of making a few quid out of the increase in all of the cryptocurrency values, and they get all the programming done for free and all the bugs ironed out for free as well. And then they're able to just roll out their own cryptocurrencies and hold them centrally, as you can see here. So that's the way things are looking for the future. Maybe completely wrong, but for me it just seems interesting. And as she says here, such a move would be revolutionary and shake up the high street banking. And that's because, again, you know, everything's done with anything that's got smart in front of it, smart meter, smartphone, smart fridge, smart TV, anything that is prefixed with the word smart, to me always sort of sounds alarm bells, as opposed to the principal definition of being smart, i.e. making life easier for me. I tend to treat it slightly differently, as it's all sort of monitoring systems. But there you go. Like I say, I'm not being paranoid. It's just there seems to be a pattern here of what's going on, and this one is the interesting one for me, because if you've got control, as I think it was either Rothschilds or Rockefeller said, that, you know, give me control of the money system and control not only the politicians but also the people as well. So there you go. And on a cheery note. But again, it's something you should just be aware of. It's all right to everybody proselytizing about the money that can be made in cryptocurrencies, but it's also interesting just to see, well, what's the reason for this huge interest and you know, the powers that be, as I say, the IMF and also the central banks, allowing these to actually be developed, because normally they wouldn't allow such a thing when it interferes with their god, i.e. the fiat money system. Right, so that'll do it for this one, and if there's anything to report today, I will do so. Other than that, as ever, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.